Hey guys, it's Kayla Ewell from Directionally Challenged, a podcast about realigning your internal compass. New KFC chicken nuggets are finally here, and you have never had nuggets like these. All of the delicious KFC flavor you love in one amazing chicken nugget. 100% white meat, hand breaded in KFC's original recipe. Order new KFC fried chicken nuggets now, available at participating KFC near you. Guys, they're finger licking good.
Me. I am a memoir. I said a memoir. The meaning of Mariah Carey.
Hello, Lamely. Welcome to the Triple DP episode, the long-awaited 6 throbbing pages of joy. It's a triple chapter special. It's our chapter 18. It's Mariah's chapters, whatever they are. You know what the numbers are. I'm confused. But we will be looking at The Man from Kalamazoo, Shook Ones, and what is it? The
last show at Sing Sing.
The last show at Sing Sing. I was going to say the honey one, but that's next week. The last show at
Did you
Sing
read
Sing.
ahead again?
No, I just am not.
You went for a quadruple DP.
No, I did not read ahead. I did not. I just, wrote down the wrong thing in my list because I was writing that down for the end of the show. And anyway, look,
yes,
it's very confusing. Anyway, speaking of the start of the show, we always start with some me moments. And there is a doozy this week that I'm really looking forward to. So let's get into it.
Well, hopefully I got it. Me moments. All right, so in our little headlines this week, Dem Babies turned 10.
Yay!
With
happy
the
10
only,
babies.
Yes, happy 10 babies. The only birthday that Mariah acknowledges.
Yes.
Mariah shared footage and photos of Rock and Roll throughout the years and is said to be shocked that in just 2 short years they will actually be older than her.
I know. It's very, very
crazy.
It's terrifying. I know. I love to celebrate that it's been a decade since her reverse DP.
Oh my God. I still can't believe you left that in. When I listened back to the last episode, I went...
I don't chop anything out.
Okay.
It's all in. It's all in.
I love that at the beginning of this podcast, I was the one who's hated, but slowly the tables will turn.
I will make everyone hate me.
Yay. Now, Mariah appeared in the Lamley Lounge on Twitter Spaces.
Oh, I saw this.
Yes, we found a few things out, but I will say the audio was a little confusing because people were sort of...
Everyone wanted to talk to Mariah.
I know. And she kind of just starts answering questions that I don't think anyone asked, which is fine. So Mariah is obsessed with what she's doing right now, but can't go into details, darling. She did say that during lockdown, she rested her voice and feels that it's back to where it needs to be, which sort of ties into the whole caution thing where she said she didn't feel that she was in the right spot to be slaying an album.
Well, I know we've had people complaining about me saying her voice is not where it was. And I think it is that thing. I think she's not having enough vocal rest between big belty performances. Because I watched one... just in our normal... I watch videos for our research for this show, and then YouTube makes me watch something else, and then something else, and then I don't turn Mariah off for about 4 days. But yeah, I saw a live performance where she was really... It sounded like she was doing damage during the concert, but she was really reaching for notes, and I was loving... I was like, I love that we've got this for a posterity now. If she completely tore open a vocal cord.
Oh my God. I
I
remember one in particular where it was a rough day and it's like she kept yelling at her vocal cords as things were not going how she wanted them to. She's like smacking them. Like, how dare you? You let me down. Come on, gang.
Oh, what about the one where someone sent me a TikTok this week of a girl going, remember when Mariah Carey totally slagged off her backup singers in key? She's like, stop singing my line. But she sang it to the tune.
good girl.
Touch my body, bless her.
Good girl. So also within this video, she touched on the fact that she's doing some Christmas stuff.
Oh.
And some other stuff.
Merry Christmas 3-way.
Maybe. Triple DP.
Triple DP for Christmas. Oh my God, I've dilated.
Finally. This is just the practice. Now, Mariah is also thinking of doing some Pride stuff, proving that she's going after every holiday, as we've discussed.
Yes. She needs to own every holiday. It's
absolutely
important. She's the only one that knows how to celebrate them properly. So why don't we just outsource them all to her?
Yeah. Even the ones that are inappropriate for her to be doing.
Look, if Barbara Streisand could do a Christmas album,
that's true.
Mariah can own Hanukkah.
Now, there was also a quote, which was, "The strictness of life is annoying. I don't care for it." Which had to do with having to live by rules. Then there was something about Mariah dissing her own performance of If Only You Knew and Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and the Patti LaBelle special.
This is how I got into the many performances of her screaming when she shouldn't have been screaming.
And the Lamley got mad about this. And then Mariah has since said, perhaps it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Right? It was like, and then it said in this article, it was like, even Patti was impressed, and it just like showed a picture of Patti looking completely regular. Like, just like a normal expression on her face.
Yeah, Patti always looks impressed. Patti gave her a standing O, bless her.
Oh.
Like when I watched that video, it was like, whoa, Patty's up. And then I had to watch Mariah and Patti singing Got to Be Real, where they spend more time screaming each other's names than singing the song. Patti, Mariah, Patti. It is my favourite live performance.
We're just double checking we remember our names. Fine.
Mariah, Patti.
This is the podcast now.
It's the Mariah and Patti podcast. Mariah, Patti.
And in our lead story, I believe Mariah is fully vaccinated.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Now, I believe it's fully because down under, it's 2. You get stuck twice. It's not a triple DP.
No, it's just a double DP.
Is it a double DP in America?
Double DP. Just a regular DP.
A double DP is, what's that? Like 4?
I'm booked in.
I'm confused.
Should I do some Mariah realness at my...
Absolutely.
When I get my vaccination?
So this was it was a sequel, this little video. Mariah picked a pink Band-Aid because it was festive, and she mentions the medical narrative again.
The medical narrative.
And
she talks over.
I know. And asked about a retractable needle, but was devastatingly told she had to have a regular needle. Because apparently there was drama where people thought, it's a fake needle.
I
She's
know.
not doing this. And as Mariah responds, would I ever go into this lighting for no reason?
I know. I would.
No.
That's my favourite moment. It's like, as if I was going to fake it.
And she shows the lighting.
If I was going to fake it, the doctors would have a mask on, but not much else.
Yeah, it would be an Apple TV Plus Christmas special style.
Snoop Dogg would be administering the vaccine.
I actually wish that was a thing. I will say they really stuck her arm though. I was it was kind of traumatic seeing someone like penetrate Mariah in such a way.
Well,
my goodness.
Chapters to come.
And that brings us festively to the end of Me moment.
Oh, that was a beautiful moment.
Did I hit on the one that you wanted?
It was the lighting. It was why would I fake this in this lighting? If I was going to fake it, it'd be fake.
I mean, it is weird though, because it is the hospital wing of a house. So I thought she'd have good lighting.
Well, you know the hospital wing of her house.
I know. Oh, sorry. It's an apartment. But still. It has wings.
Oh, dear. So does that mean you want to recap now? Is that what you're
I
looking
think
for?
that would be nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Before the triple DP, just
Before
a quick
the triple
recap.
DP, let's recap our single P from many weeks ago.
Before gisting.
Before I went a little bit crazy on the Music Box remixes. I'm still listening to them.
How about a recap? A recap. Would you like a recap?
So in our last chapter, Mariah and Tommy did therapy. Mariah had acting lessons from voluminous breasts and wildly gesticulating arms. She reenacted the opening scene from Fame with Debbie Allen, of all people, HRH. And then she went through the Get Smart corridor into a whole new life.
Yeah.
And I would play that sound now, but I got a new computer and I don't know where it is.
The magic of editing.
I'm not playing it.
I'm
not playing it ever again.
I am very excited because we do have something that's very much in that vein coming up in one of these chapters.
Ooh.
Okay. Not that, but just something Mariah mentions. Anyway.
Exciting.
How about before? This normally happens after the triple DP, but I think we should do it before. I think you should gist.
Oh, all right. A pre-DP gist.
Just in case you're nervous, get it out, You'll last longer.
Mariah is having heavy extramarital flirtations. Only flirtations. She listens to Mobb Deep, and Tommy does something unspeakable in front of her friends / colleagues, supposedly. Also a mantelpiece.
Thrilling. It's kind of true, isn't it? Just like BTW, the mantelpiece. Oh my God.
I love the mantelpiece. I love that it's like, anyway, this mantelpiece.
So shall we break this on down?
All of it.
And by this, I mean our anal cavity walls. Break me on down.
Oh, well, let's get let the first P for our triple DP is the man
first DP
is Kalamazoo, the man from Kalamazoo.
So we open with Operation Mariah's solo test flight night. I didn't even make that up.
I know.
That's what it's called.
Mariah is straight off the bat with its strict itinerary.
The strict itinerary where Mariah and Tommy would go to a gala acting normal.
Yes.
And then Mariah would go off to dinner for friends, actual normal.
Yes.
Now, Mariah was riddled with a horrible cocktail of anxiety and boredom.
Oh my God, you can't even get drunk on that. That's the worst cocktail.
I wasn't expecting boredom. So I was like, they're all boring.
I'm at like, $1,000 plate gala and it's dull.
Yeah, I'm having a panic attack because all of these people are very regular. But she knew she could get through this because on the other side of it was fun, darlings.
Fun, darlings.
Fun, darlings.
She's hanging out with Wanya.
Exactly.
From Boys to Men.
Now,
he's my
Mariah,
favourite of the Boys to Men.
Is he?
Yeah. I went to see them live. There was only 3.
Did they make love to you?
They'd lost one somewhere along
Boys
the way.
3 Men.
Yeah. But yeah, he was fun. He was like, he's the one with the voice.
Oh.
Okay.
That's why Mariah's friends with him and not the others. She doesn't know the others.
He's the one that, he's the one that keeps up with her when she goes on full runs during one sweet day. It's like, oh yeah, I like you. You can keep up with me in my little jogging.
Hooray. Now, Mariah mentions that the photos from this night that they went to the little gala, she was, giving the awkward smile, but mentions how she was too afraid to smile because she'd been told as a little girl that her nose was too wide and that smiling made it spread more. Who the fuck says that?
Who are these people?
Who are they?
Who are they? I know, I love that.
Oh my God. Wait till you hear the audiobook. Then later,
I cannot wait to hear
we get a fast forward but still a flashback.
Yes.
That a Sony exec told her that she should only ever be photographed from the non-beauty mark side.
Oh my God.
As she says, who are these people? Who are they?
Who are they?
And this,
you know what I love about this is like you know, I love the songs. I love the origins of the songs. And now we've found the origins of the not that side, darling.
I know. Well, do you remember, like probably in our first or second episode, I mentioned a rare interview that I came across, which was, I think, on the set of Fantasy or around that time, where she did say it sort of started as a joke and she just kept it going. And maybe this was the beginning of just, she's turned that trauma into a joke and then ran with it. Sounds very Mariah. Now,
the side without the beauty mark. Well, then how is it beautiful?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I've just got spots everywhere. So
you're looking. Do I have a beauty mark?
I'm like, no, I do. I've got the blur on, so maybe. So they're hiding.
The touch up my appearance.
Yeah, touch my appearance up. That didn't work. Now, Tommy and Mariah faked it through the celebrity-studded chicken dinner charity event. And apparently they both had great practice at faking it. Make of that what you will. Now, after the event, Mariah went to an Armani dinner party with her assistant and Wanya from Boyz II Men.
She felt like Cinderella in reverse.
Exactly.
Like the reverse DP.
Now, the lighting in this place was low. I only mentioned that because Mariah always mentions the lighting.
I know. She knows her lighting and she knows what's good and what's not.
You know, it's the first thing she notices when she walks into
500 hours of beauty school.
Exactly.
You know,
day one, lighting. That's the whole first term.
Day one, no full sun.
And you get all
fluorescent bulbs. No.
Yeah.
No. Indirect lighting only.
Tungsten. I don't know her. It's just a little photography term. It's fine. Okay, now they all sat around a huge table. There was laughter and wine, and Wanya would occasionally break out into riffs.
Oh, he's
now,
so good.
This is very Wanya, and I actually have a little bit of an example of him doing this sort of thing, all right?
Yes.
So I'm going to play it, and hopefully you can hear it.
Yamakipiebo, Cedere Fakebo, Indar Latin equals UJ,
Safasaray! Safasaray! So stupid. Now, at some point, firstly, thank you, Wanya, for that stunning scatting.
He can sing in tune.
He was singing both parts. He was also the bass.
Oh,
the
well
double
then,
bass.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
At some point, Derek Jeter and his unnamed friend rocked up.
Yep.
They were pedestrian jocks in pointy shoes, and Mariah didn't know them, so she continued chatting to the more interesting guests.
Yes. Well, she wasn't going to chat to pointy shoe people.
No, hell no. Conversation at the table turned to inconspicuous blackness.
Yes.
Where they discussed who they thought could be secretly black, though with more nuance, as Mariah states.
What they call passing, I believe.
Yes. Now, Mariah was thrilled that for the first time she could discuss race and identity with young, smart, and creative people. Mm-hmm. Then the conversation turned specifically to Mariah. I feel like that would happen a lot. When Mariah's around, you'd be like, oh, anyway, let's talk about Mariah.
Yeah, it happens with me. As if it wouldn't happen with Mariah.
Yeah. Now, someone from Armani said he couldn't tell if Mariah was part black. No parts of him were black. No parts of him were black, by the way. Not entirely sure what she meant by that.
I think she meant, like, he would know.
He was very
If
white.
he was, he would know.
Yes. What does Mariah... Oh, yeah, sorry. So Wanya was having none of this.
No, because he knows.
Squealed. Started squealing. We all know. How could you not know? Like, we all know.
We all know. Have you heard her sing? Sounds like she's in church. Mm-hmm. Woman's black.
Then someone else chimed in asking Derek about his Irish mother and black father.
What?
Right? Then suddenly... Yeah, good. Do the music. Because suddenly a cyclone approached. A window is blown in and hits Mariah on the head, knocking her unconscious. The restaurant is sent spinning into the air, and when Mariah awakens, Derek, the good witch of Kalamazoo, welcomes her into the Technicolor world where Tommy has been flattened by a house.
Oh.
Amazing. I can close Kim Cattrall now. Kim Cattrall's under there too.
Saray!
She died doing, like, that was her last words, her dying words. Saray!
Kim Cattrall's little feet sticking out under the house.
And they're still bopping to boom, 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 boom.
She dogs and he dogs.
Now, finally, Mariah could see past Derek's pointy shoes. He was, in fact, Prince Charming. Surprise twist. For the first time, Mariah felt butterflies talking to a man. And in brackets, I wrote, I wonder what that's like.
Have you not felt butterflies? Because
I certainly haven't. Not for a long time.
Well, you haven't talked to any men. That's your problem.
No,
you didn't get butterflies going from car to car at the beat the other night?
I haven't returned. I might have to. We'll see how the triple DP goes first.
Okay, good.
Before I take a whole car.
Oh my God! What is this podcast?
I don't know. Now, what? Okay, so she talks about having written many, many songs about romance, but always actually being sad herself. So Mariah and Derek talked, and Mariah did not care if people could see their attraction and the flirtation. She brazenly let him walk her to the car.
Oh.
Even though the driver, a.k.a. Tommy's agent, was there. At first, I read this as Tommy's agent is moonlighting as a limo driver. And I realised she meant like a Secret Service agent because we're still in Get Smart.
Yeah, we're still in Get Smart.
I was like, wow, Tommy's not paying them enough. And Mariah felt diminutive next to him.
I love that is the big shade. Like this,
I know.
This is a piece of shade cloth as big as a suburb.
I wrote, Mariah felt diminutive next to him, unlike next to teeny tiny Tommy.
Hey, TD Valentine, can you hear me down there?
Yeah. And that is the end of our first DP.
Oh, the man from Kalamazoo, Derek Jeter.
Now, are we happy to just plow on to the second DP?
Like get that second DP right up.
Okay, let's do it.
Shook ones.
Shook ones. I am shooketh. Now we start with some lyrics from Outside.
Just spoken.
I think, I don't remember.
I know, there's a lot.
It was 3 chapters.
Yeah, and there's a lot of lyrics. It was definitely
some singing, and I also had to listen to our last chapter as well,
yeah,
so it all
Don't
blurred.
say you had to. It was fun.
No, I mean, I wanted to, of course, darling. Mariah's agent discreetly exchanged information with Derek's friend. Now, I know that this isn't what she meant. Sorry.
His unnamed friend.
Yeah, he's unnamed. Yeah. I know this isn't what she meant, but in my head, there's a whole side plot where the assistant and Derek's friend fall in love and move to the suburbs.
Oh, excellent.
That's like when the show's made, that's what happens. But like Mariah's running around on the roof and the agent's getting it off in the back of the limo.
Do you know one thing? Friend. I know, like, it's going to become more apparent as this chapter goes on, but the fact that the friend has no name, and neither does the assistant.
I know. Don't think I didn't notice this.
Who was my assistant then? It doesn't matter. Just call her the assistant.
Yeah, the assistant. It's just
Michael, that's when you're writing this one down. Michael Los Angeles Davis. Just call her the assistant. She doesn't need a name. It was a regular one anyway.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe she was Heather.
Maybe her assistant was Jennifer.
Yeah. Actually. Like the actual recording artist.
Remember when she was my assistant? Oh, useless.
But no, in reality, the assistant they swapped Mariah and Derek's details for them. Now, I do love the image of Mariah's assistant saying, like, I know she's married, but she's got to get her some good D. Yeah. You know? Like, let's get her some good.
She wasn't going to get any D. She was not going to break her vow.
No, I did write that down somewhere. But this
Stop maligning her intentions.
I will say, speaking of the assistant TM, it does show that Mariah did have someone in her court.
But he was probably... Well, she, the assistant may have been a man. I don't know. But the assistant may be at some point.
Yeah, there might be a glitter situation.
Betrays her.
Okay.
There's a lot of betrayal going on this chapter, by the way.
So much betrayal. Now, it turns out that Derek was actually a lamb, darling.
A lamb!
He's listening. Hello, Derek. You're listening to the podcast? I assume so.
Yeah.
He gave Mariah's manager World Series tickets in exchange for an autographed photo in years past.
Yes.
And then told Mariah that his favourite song was Anytime You Need a Friend. And that he listened to it before every game, that version. Now, here is where we learn that the song was written thinking about what God would say to us, humanity, in times of fear. Now, Mariah took this to mean that Derek loved Jesus, so he made her feel safe.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep.
It's like,
it's a very gospel-y
you like that song. Yeah.
It's a very gospel-y song.
Now, Mariah and Derek started communicating with brief but thrilling calls. Mariah invented texting just so they could send messages to each other. Did you notice this? She's like, we'd send messages. Then did she say write message? I can't remember. But either way,
we started a clandestine communication, texting each other cute short messages.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think texting existed then.
No,
especially in America. Did it?
Yes.
Because I remember.
You have to dig way down deep into your phone to work out if it could do it, but it could do it.
Okay. Because I remember... I think I was watching The View, as I do. And texting was like a new thing, apparently, in America in like 2008. Like, we'd been doing it for a while here. Yeah. And for some reason, they'd only just discovered it. I don't know why. Maybe it was too expensive.
I found it in a phone that I had when I was in England in 98 and was texting people in Australia.
When was Butterfly? 97.
Yeah.
Either way, Mariah invented it, so that's cool.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, it was all very thrilling as Derek played the same position as Joe DiMaggio, who had married Marilyn Monroe. And Mariah was living in her very own love song.
She's having a moment.
This is what Mariah always wanted.
Yes.
To live in one of her own songs.
I know. She's manifested her own love life.
As Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Now, all of this communicating led to arranging an encounter. Now, as you mentioned,
this is the
Mariah,
most famous Mills and Boon I've ever read.
We're not even at the third DP yet.
No. Normally in Mills and Boon, he's a doctor, she's a nurse. Well, that's about all that happens.
Can I make it any more obvious? It's a little Avril Lavigne joke. So, though Mariah was married, she didn't intend to break any of her vows. Mm-hmm. They planned to meet at La Paqueta. Mariah wore a sexy, classy, youthful, chic chocolate moment, aka a leather skirt and a top.
Oh my God. It's like 12 pages of descriptions of what she's wearing. It is my favourite thing in the world. It's like, I remember every last thread. Yeah. Every last piece of fabric, every designer.
I wore a hat.
Not pointy shoes.
But Mariah, after the 19 paragraphs of fashion, did reveal to us that she was scared, darling.
Of course she was.
Scared. This is all, but it's thrilling as well.
She was about to not break her marriage vows with another man.
That excites me all the time.
What was the vow? Like, was the vow, look, just not in the front door? Everything else is fine.
Oh no. This Triple GP is getting real painful. Now, the plan was to meet at the pizza shop, give the driver the slip, and go to Derek's house through a series of underground tunnels. Insert Get Smart theme song. Now, when they got to Derek's unimpressive but neat place, he suggested they go to, pause for dramatic effect, the roof. I'm raising it.
You know what happens?
What?
Well, we're getting song origins. I've tipped over the edge.
So up they went to get pissed on some moe.
Yeah.
Moet. They whispered a bit and then leaned in for a big juicy pash.
No, Mariah, what about your vows?
Your vows. Now, upon seeing this, Zeus opened the skies and unleashed a torrential rain, which led to a rooftop dance-off to Lady Gaga's Rain on Me.
No, that's not what
stunning. Can you imagine, though? I would love that. Like, oh, hang on. That's what I'd do.
No.
I'd be like, I know we're pashing, and it's the first time I felt anything good.
There are plenty of Mariah Rain songs to get through before we moved on to Gaga.
I just needed a dance moment between the two because Mariah can move now.
Yeah, she's had a dance lesson. She's good.
Now, Mariah was so caught up in this kiss and the dance routine that she didn't even care about her leather skirt.
Oh, what a Chanel!
Right, though she had straightened her hair that night. So, had she straightened her hair that night, you'd best believe she'd have broken off and run to save the blowout.
Yeah, I know. I love it. It's like, I'm fine to ruin my leather skirt and my Prada boots, but
this hair took too long.
God, heaven forbid if I got my blowout wet. It's like I just buy new skirt and boots. I'm stupidly rich.
But then the fear did start to set in. So Mariah two-wayed her assistant, in which I assume she let Derek watch, Zing.
No!
It's not a triple DP, but it's a start, Mariah.
Stop it.
Now, Mariah dashed back to La Paqueta, met her assistant, and they jumped into the limo.
Yes.
She did not even care that the driver would notice that she was soaking wet.
Oh,
and she'd actually dried by that point.
Oh.
She was actually stone cold dry at that point. But anyway, sliding around on the back seat. Oh my God, this is porn now.
You made it like that. I've done nothing.
I don't think I did. I did.
You did.
I didn't even know what a beat was.
She does now.
And I learned what a DP is because of Kelly Ripa. So
Kelly fucking Ripa.
Now, in the car, Mariah's mind was racing. She turned on the radio hearing Shook Ones by Mobb Deep.
Oh.
And we do get OG vocals from Mobb Deep in the audiobook.
Just the vocals?
Now,
we don't get the music?
Not the song, just the vocals.
Because the song is the sample.
Exactly. So Mariah got home and Tommy was thankfully out of town. She had a bath in her bathroom, the ocean, popped on her white robe and looked in the mirror.
She had a shower, not a bath. She just sat on the edge of the bath.
Yeah, she sat on the edge of the water. Shut up. I'm out of practice. What's going on? So she looked in the mirror where her eyes appeared a little brighter. It's essentially what now an Instagram filter does to us all. You just got jeeted. Where's the Jeter?
Where's the Jeter filter? I want bright eyes. I need a Jeter filter.
Now, as she laid in bed, Shook Ones popped into her head, as did some lyrics and a little melody. Mm-hmm. So the next day, Mariah called Poke and Tone from Trackmasters? Pokey and Tony? She got the sample, and they got busy writing The Roof, her first Docu-song.
I love that she calls it a Docu-song.
Now, I know. I did look this up. It's not a phrase that exists.
No, I know.
So Mariah has made it up.
She has invented Docu-song.
I'm assuming what she's meaning is it's the first time she wrote a song with no fantasizing, no embellishment. It just is what happened.
It's a song about what happened. It's a non-fiction
song. It's a list. It's a shopping list. She sang her shopping list.
Shopping list of hotness.
Now, here is where we get the lyrics to The Roof and an explanation that it is exactly what happened. Yeah. And that brings us to the end of A Shooketh Ones.
Shook Ones.
All right.
From the gas pump to the grocery store, inflation is everywhere. Seriously, make it stop. Thankfully, there's one company out there that's giving you a much-needed break. It's Mint Mobile. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/switch. That's mintmobile.com/switch.
Hey guys, it's Kayla Ewell from Directionally Challenged, a podcast about realigning your internal compass. New KFC chicken nuggets are finally here, and you have never had nuggets like these. All of the delicious KFC flavor you love in one amazing chicken nugget. 100% white meat, hand-breaded in KFC's original recipe. Order new KFC fried chicken nuggets now, available at participating KFC near you. Guys, they're finger-licking good.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it up on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough with the phones already. Put them down and pay attention, or pay the price. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
How are we feeling? Have we torn? Any tearing, darling?
Look, I may need some stitches. There's a lot of the roof.
Do you have any room left?
I do. Let's have our last show at Sing Sing.
All right, let's have the final two. Yeah, Sing and Sing. So the last show at Sing Sing. Now at this point, both Tommy and Mariah knew things were over.
Yep.
But Tommy kept making desperate attempts to get her to stay, including a gorgeous, pointless red convertible.
I love that it's pointless.
Right? I mean, mine is too.
Yeah. Pointless Jaguar without a roof.
Oh, my God. We know that we love roofs, darling. She's
irony.
like the first thing. It doesn't even have a roof.
Irony that she's just done something unspeakable on a roof. And he buys her a car without one.
Are you saying that roofs are cancelled?
Roofs are cancelled by Tommy. Tommy cancelled the
roof. Now, one evening, Mariah was working with two men that she had a significant working relationship.
Significant!
Now, significant sounds an awful lot like Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
And I couldn't work out the second one, but I feel like it's probably a name we've mentioned.
Oh, it might be an engineer or...
Maybe?
Yeah.
I thought maybe another songwriter or maybe an assistant.
Maybe the assistant.
Maybe the assistant TM. Now, these men whose wealth and prominence Mariah had contributed to considerably. Had mob-like loyalty to Tommy, back to him being in the mob. And they were sitting in the kitchen with Mariah. She described the atmosphere as cold and quiet. Seemingly, something had shifted in Mariah, and everybody knew it.
Yeah.
Tommy was embarrassed that he'd lost control of his, quote, woman in front of his, quote, boys. Tommy started to go on about the car he'd brought her, the house they lived in, which she helped finance, and how dare she leave him. Do you reckon he was on the phone to Patricia for all of this?
Maybe.
Oh my God. You should have half the house I have.
The husband I've got.
Now, okay. This is where things get quite terrifying, but also fucking weird.
Yeah.
Tommy takes a butter knife and presses the flat side of it against Mariah's cheek while the men look on doing nothing.
Nothing.
He drags the knife down her face, leaving Mariah searing with rage.
Yep.
So I get that what she's saying is what happened, but what was that? Like,
I think that was a threat. It was like, if you leave, I can just end it.
I'm going to butter your face? I don't understand.
I don't think it was buttering. I think it's a knife.
Yeah.
Like,
it was just...
regardless of the fact that it's pretty blunt and mainly used for smearing butter on bread, which, Mariah's never done. But yeah, it's horrific. It's a horrific moment. It is terrifying.
And it's so out of... I mean, it's not out of nowhere in that he's been obviously very problematic, but it's just such a... It just seemed that they were just sitting at the table having a meal, and then it's like, oh, remember I bought you that car? Now I'm going to slice your face.
Yeah, I think I got the impression that there was an argument going on, that she was talking back to him and saying, meh, meh, meh.
And maybe that's what she meant when she said that something has shifted and people were aware of it. She was actually fighting back.
She was standing
maybe
up.
because she had something to fight for.
Yeah, she was standing up for herself, probably. He's, ranting and raving and being an asshole. And she's going, no, not putting up with it. And he's come at her with a knife.
Now, Mariah announced that this would be Tommy's last show with her, the captive audience at Sing Sing. We get more lyrics from Petals that are clearly describing the two men.
Yes.
But I did go back and revisit the lyrics to the song Petals, and I'm wondering who the little brother and sister are. Because so far, we've ticked off Alison.
Yes.
Tommy. And now the two men.
Yes.
But there's a whole portion talking about sort of leaving a little brother and sister.
Yeah, I know.
Which I would have thought was probably something related to Tommy.
Yeah.
In the way that it fits into the song. But there doesn't seem to be anyone else there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might be just someone that she's decided not to bring into the story.
Yeah, maybe.
Like if, I don't know if Tommy had kids previously, but whoever it is, I think it's it's maybe someone that she's decided I'm not going to tell their story because that's
sure.
They never did nothing.
I will say we got a lot of Tommy in this book.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting.
Well, she was married to him.
And?
So, I would expect we're going to get some Nick Cannon at some point.
I don't know. We're a good chunk through this book. Oh, yeah, marrying someone called Nick Cannon. Anyway. Now, Mariah sat on the bath trying to muster up the courage to leave. I think this is a little bit of a flash forward. It's not clear whether this is the same day. But she quickly writes Fly Away Butterfly Reprise.
Yes.
And descends the stairs saying she truly thought she would die in that house and haunt it forever.
Oh my God, this is my favourite moment. I love that we've gone from...
Oh my God.
Like the N-word chapter, we've gone from absolute horror to the height of absurd comedy.
Oh my God. So Mariah thought that they would turn the house into a morbid yet festive tourist attraction, a tasteful Graceland where you could hear her hitting high notes in the halls at night. Okay, so firstly, I would watch the crap out of that. I want Haunting of Hill House Series 3 to be that.
As she calls it, the famous Ghost of Mariah Mansion.
Exactly. Secondly, Mariah hates Graceland.
Yes.
And thirdly...
Tasteful Graceland.
Third, she's clearly been listening to our podcast and liking all of our ideas because this is the kind of shit we would come up with.
I know. I feel like we've dovetailed into a place of weirdness all at the same time.
Oh, I just want that show so bad. Now, Mariah left Sing Sing with little more than her wardrobe and
which is like 4 rooms.
I was going to say.
Little more.
I assume she just attached the rooms to some trucks and just pulled that shit off the side of the
wardrobe,
house.
which filled an entire 747.
Yeah. Now, the only other thing she wanted was the hand-carved mantelpiece created to her specific design direction.
Yes, by a little man in Europe.
Now, because I love that she was giving him props, but also that he just really followed her design. As she was leaving, she noticed there was a butterfly in the center.
In a love heart.
Right. She did not request this and momentarily thought about having the craftsman killed for diverting from her specific design direction.
She didn't!
But decided instead to take it as a sign to spread her wings and fly, butterfly. Oh. Now, we get a little sort of fast forward in which natural disasters eventually tore down the walls of Sing Sing.
Yes. And Hill's jail went in a tornado.
It's the one from Wizard of Oz. She sent her, go there. So a few years later, Sing Sing did burn down. Hillsdale was destroyed by a tornado, which Mariah... So I wrote, Mariah may or may not have an in with Mother Nature. Probably introduced to her by Santa. Then Mariah received a call from the owner of Sing Sing, the former owner of my house that I formerly owned.
Yep.
Who had removed the mantle and saved it. Now, what kind of rich-ass person is like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm just going to put it in storage.
I'm going to put a marble mantle in, but this wooden one looks like it was deliciously carved by a very expert European craftsman. I'll pop it in the garage.
Yeah, but designed by Mariah Carey.
Yes. Look at all those butterflies in hearts.
Now, Mariah painted it, like she got it and painted it white, as Marilyn had done with her mother's piano.
Yes.
And it now sits in the most personal room in her house with her family photographs and other precious things.
Like a tasteful Graceland.
Now, I am wondering whether Mariah's family photographs are also in a corkboard style situation so that she can add and remove people at will. Like, are they family today?
She's wealthy. She can have them framed and removed.
Well, because remember,
she had a man that comes in and takes it down.
She had the famous photos on the corkboard, and she described.
Yes.
She Mariah explained a corkboard to us in case we didn't understand it.
That's when she was poor.
No, that was with photos with Stevie Wonder and stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
The corkboard.
But lastly, we learn through all of this, Mariah did not let her spirit die.
Thank God.
And that brings us to the end of a sweaty triple DP.
Triple DP is complete. Oh, I
need a little rest.
I'm overcome with some of the amazements that have come into this.
And just overcome.
Overcome and overcome. Would you like to come over and then come over? No. It's the actress set to the bishop.
Mariah made it out. Now, I will start with last week. So, for side effects, I gave Poshfinity.
You did.
I did. You gave regular infinity.
Regular infinity, yeah.
And the Lamley also gave infinity.
Yes, it was an infinity-worthy chapter, the side effects.
Absolutely. Now, for the next three, we will give a score for each one, but I think we'll discuss those scores at the end.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they do go together. So for the man from Kalamazoo, what score did you give that chapter?
Controversially, a 9.
Oh, so did I.
Like, I liked it, and it was cute, and I was really into Wanya having a sing at the restaurant.
Yeah, with the he-dogs and the she-dogs.
Yeah, but I just, it just felt like a run-up. We were about to launch into something amazing, but given that so much of the chapter before felt like a run-up, I felt like we were at high school playing Skippy and just not quite getting into the rhythm.
You were playing Skippy in high school?
Yeah, I was in a...
Were you the kangaroo?
Yeah.
Okay. How about a score for Shook Ones?
Shook Ones gets an infinity.
Infinity girlish giggles.
She did some... I did rude things. Infinity.
Oh my God. Okay, so I gave this one a 10. Because I couldn't...
Tenfinity!
I couldn't quite go to infinity. I didn't get the same feeling that I got in side effects. So I couldn't quite go there.
You didn't...
But I'll go more into
experience the entire creation of the roof.
Well, we haven't gotten there in our Mariah journey. Maybe that's why.
But I love the roof so hard.
Okay.
And also, the fact that she heard the song that is sampled so heavily in that song.
Yes.
In the car on the way home, like, oh, this is origin on top of origin on top of origin. Like, it has to get an
it's
infinity.
It's a triple DP of origin.
It was a triple DP infinity.
But I will touch a little more at the end. So the last show at Sing Sing, what was your score for this?
Well, the last show at Sing Sing and that horrific moment with the knife, like, just terrifying. Like, I know in hindsight everything's fine, but it was an awful, awful moment. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I gave this GT Finity-O.
How about you get the fucking idiot out? Oh my God. Well, this might be controversial then, because I gave this one a 9 as well.
Oh.
So, but I will say, I gave The Haunting of Mariah Carey Infinity. That gets Infinity. But I think what it was, and I will touch on my scores for all three, I felt that there were exciting moments. The first chapter, as you mentioned, was sort of a setup for Shook Ones. Had that have been one chapter, which it actually could have been lengthwise, I probably would have gone Infinity, because it gave you kind of the whole story. It felt like a two-parter, and maybe the first part wasn't quite as juicy as the second part.
I kind of liked that Shook Ones was its own thing, though. Again, because it feels like a nice encapsulation of the creation of one song.
Yeah, you just want to.
Whereas, we get a bit of Butterfly in the next chapter, and the chapter before had a bit of Anytime You Need a Friend. So
yeah, sure.
And as a pure lamb, I like that it's just all parceled off into one song creation.
Pure.
I'm a pure lamb.
You're a regular lamb.
You're a regular lamb, you prolo piece of shit.
Why don't you list off her IMDb again? You seem so thorough with that.
Well, I had to go and see many of her films for my job.
Your job of loving Jennifer Lopez.
Don't say her name. No regular names in this podcast.
I'm not afraid of her name, as Harry Potter said about Voldemort. It's just a name. The Man from Kalamazoo did kind of feel like it went into Shook Ones for me. So had that have been together, I probably would have gone higher. And the last show at Sing Sing, I think, to be honest, the knife incident in the audiobook, it's very quick.
Yeah.
So
it is when you read it. Like, you have to kind of go back and go,
it's so you go back to it. So it didn't quite smack me in the face like Dandelion Tea or Side Effects and
things like that. I think also just not really spending too much time on, domestic violence against women. It was just like this happened, this is a thing. I'm more offended about the two men sitting there seeing this, doing nothing.
Just watching it happen.
Like, that was more like, it read like, Tommy was an asshole several times. Like, there was a reason I was terrified, but he finally did something in front of people. And I feel like I'm wondering, and this is just from the standpoint of defamation law, if there were other incidents, other violent incidents that she does not detail because there was nobody else there. Yeah. But she can write about this one because there were two witnesses. And it's so, the implication that this was, that he'd finally reached the end of his rope and was doing this in front of someone. Yeah. But I would be fascinated to know if there were, if the reason she was so terrified of him was because there was more than this one incident with one knife. Because you don't do that just in front of people.
No, it's
I mean, you shouldn't do that anyway.
I'm obviously, we don't get their names. We have an idea of who they could be.
A very clear idea.
And it does make you think: are they sitting there? Like, were they shocked by it, or because as Mariah says, they had mob-like loyalty. Yeah. Had they witnessed this before?
Yeah, with other
people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the thing about the chapter as a whole, because then we get into the haunting and the mantelpiece, it kind of felt like Tommy epilogue. Epilogue, yeah, sure.
The epilogue.
As in, it was sort of like, because we had Tommy in the prelude, this kind of feels like the epilogue, because I'm wondering if we're going to get any more of the actual process of the divorce. Probably, because we're still in Sing Sing.
We're still in Sing Sing for 2 more chapters.
But the way she sort of... She's just packed up and she's gone.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at.
Look, I mean, he is going to come back during Glitter.
Yes. And maybe he'll bring a friend. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Don't know. Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe Mariah won't know P. Diddy anymore.
She knows P. Diddy.
But yeah. So I think it was more that it was just such a short chapter. I didn't get time to go into infinity. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I needed the build up, Mariah.
I totally understand that.
But I think that brings us to a little bit of a remix.
Remix.
The remix. The remix. What was your remix for these chapters? You can just have one remix. You don't have to have.
I have one remix, and it is call the fucking police when you are assaulted with a weapon, and make those men lie under oath that it didn't happen because they were there. Those men saw him with that knife. Like, if they're going to protect him, make them lie under oath. Like, call the police. Make this a thing. He's not only your husband, he's your boss. Like, this is inappropriate on so many levels. Like, it's violent, it's threatening, it's terrifying. Like, it is... I know she kind of wrote it like in a very off-the-cuff way, but this is not an okay thing to do. Like, this is horrific, and I would have called the police, and I would have made a report, and I would have stared those 2 bastards down and gone, you 2 need to back me up. I know you're in his corner, but you saw that he just threatened me with a fucking knife. I know it's a butter knife, but it's a knife. So...
It's certainly... I mean, again, we don't know who it is, but we have an idea.
Yeah.
And it does sort of give you a much clearer explanation as to why that did not continue.
Well, he was making, fairly big statements when it didn't continue about why he wasn't continuing with it. And knowing this story, I'm like, how could you pick anyone's side?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I know. Now, you went serious, I went stupid.
Good girl.
So I've got 2. Now, of course, we do not want Mariah to ever go to the pearly gates.
No.
Ever. But I really would have loved to visit that haunted house.
It can still be a thing. Let's build it.
Maybe we can build it.
Oh my God.
But the real remix is that I would have made my assistant stand in the rain so that we were both soaking wet when we got in the car. Like, this isn't right. Stand in the rain for 5 minutes.
So
I'm going to have some
both
pizza.
look wet.
Yeah, I'm going to order some tortellini. And how about a little Can Take That Away, Mariah's lesson? Can take that away. Oh, Mariah's lesson.
Well, what's your lesson? Because mine might be serious again.
Okay, mine is not serious. So the lesson that I learned from Mariah this week is it's kind of 2 in 1, 2 for 1. It's a double DP.
The DP is in itself a double. You can't.
It is.
Your maths is terrible.
Like Mariah. Now, it actually is sort of related to DP. So my lesson is get that good D and always dine where there's good lighting, darling.
Darling. Yes. No, I love that. That is great. My lesson is that when things seem terrible, when things are awful, there may be a roof in your future. So just hang on.
I'm literally going to climb up there tonight.
Like,
Lord.
You could end up in your Wizard of Oz moment, and you could suddenly have, somewhere to go and have some some Chanel skirt destroying cuddles. Non-vowel breaking cuddles.
I could really go a good roofing right now, I have to say.
Roof somebody, that's illegal.
That's roofie. I said roofing.
Oh, roofing. Sorry.
Maybe a little tiling.
You want to get
little
some
terracotta.
You want to get fully Jeter
terracotta cuddles
on the roof with the Jeter in the epilogue.
Oh my goodness. Now, I think we might have a few people for this little next section, which is the I don't know hers. I have on our list, we do not know the two men.
No. And it's highly implied that one of them is Walter Afanasieff. But if he watched The Butter Knife, I don't know her either now. And I loved her.
We don't know the assistant's name.
We don't know the assistant.
Don't know his name. And we don't know Derek's friend.
Don't know Derek's friend.
I kind of think it would be hilarious.
I thought there was a moment where we weren't going to know Derek.
That could still happen. I mean, we haven't gotten to my all just yet.
No.
And they ain't together now, you know. Although she's writing about him in a pretty positive light.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be really funny if Derek Jeter's friend was someone really famous and Mariah just didn't know because it's sports ball.
What if it's someone who is really famous, also a baseballer, and maybe has recently been in a relationship with a regular named person?
At first, all I could think of, because the only sports ball reference I have is Victoria Beckham throwing out the pitch at a Dodgers game. And I was like, is it Victoria Beckham?
No.
But no. Well, they're no longer.
I know that's recent because regular name's back with the back when she's gone.
I hope not.
She's done some graveyard.
I don't know if she would, because on Watch What Happens Live, the question was asked, who's better in bed, dancers, musicians, or actors? And let's just say it wasn't actors. It was dancers and musicians. It was both, but just not actors. None actors. So I think a lot of that might be made up.
Well, they were seen together.
Oh, I haven't found that part out. See, I don't know this because I'm not obsessed with her.
I'm not either. It's just because I talk about it and the Google lady's always listening to everything I say. Mm-hmm. She sends me information about regular named people.
All right, it is time to hit up some Mariah-isms.
Mariah-isms.
Now...
Mrs.
Now, last chapter, we each selected a Mariah-ism and put it to the Lamley to vote for their favourite. The two options were, I knew I was too black to do interpretive dance, or B, it was sneaky, but I was at the end of my fucking rope. So I've just pulled up a little result here, darling.
Yeah.
And the winner is...
Oh, I know who the winner is.
Who is the winner?
Well, it has to be... She's not doing interpretive dance.
It was
a corker. I know when I've chosen the worst one.
No, it was good. You always choose ones that look good written. Like there's an exclamation mark. I know there's an explanation mark.
There's italics. There's darling with an H.
Exactly. Which means that I get to go first in picking my Mariah-ism this week.
Yes.
And to be honest, it happened very early. And there was some good stuff in this chapter. Mm-hmm. There was some amazing imagery that I would like to explore.
Yes.
But nothing made me cackle out loud more than I'm not being shady, but he had on pointy shoes.
That was going to be my one.
It was just the fact that she's like,
so
I'm not being shady. Like, it's exactly what you're being. But just how pointy shoes seem to be the most horrific thing that happened in these 3 chapters. I don't, somehow. So what was your next choice? Because there are some good ones. I've got some special mentions.
Has to be like a tasteful Graceland.
Bless.
If we could fit in the entire paragraph about her Coco
Yes,
ensemble, I would totally go with it.
Yeah.
But Twitter does not have enough characters for the entire description of what she wore when she got drenched on the roof.
I will say that I've got a few special mentions. One is, thank goodness my hair was naturally curly because had it been straightened, I might have broken and run to save the blowout.
Oh, that's too many characters too.
I was riddled with a horrible cocktail of anxiety and boredom. And I could just see what they'd make of it. A morbid yet festive tourist attraction where you could hear me hitting high notes in the halls at night. That might have been my favourite image.
What about my first complete Docu-song? Like, that is an actual Mariahism. She has coined a term.
That's true. But I just could never see past the pointy shoes.
No,
nor could Mariah.
it was too amazing. It was such a moment.
And then it's in the italics. Pointy.
Pointy shoes. Oh.
And it's just the worst thing she's ever seen.
Oh, I love her shade. I'm not being shady. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'm not being shady, but here's something really shady about shoes. But she has an entire wardrobe, a shoe drobe.
Yeah.
And
she knows.
She does not allow.
She knows a shoe that
the pointy,
is not okay.
The pointy shoe.
Pointy shoes.
And with that, we are almost home. At the end of the podcast. Podcast, baby. Almost there. Almost home, you could probably say. You could say. But you won't because of copyright. Copyright. That's a no.
Oh, all right. So next, what are we doing next week? I'm completely
I know. I was going to say, we haven't
confused.
actually discussed this. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a special daydream episode.
Excellent.
Which will bring us up to Butterfly, where we are in the book. So we will be on track with Mariah.
Daydream is going to be epic. It might be 2 episodes.
Oh my God. Can you wait? Because this is the first Mariah album that I had.
I know.
So we're in some trouble. I've got the vinyl and I've not listened to it yet because I'm waiting for this episode.
Get out. I think
And
I've
then the
got
week
some
after-
vinyl and some 12-inch remixes of Fantasy and the like.
Oh. And then we will have the chapter Just Like Honey.
Just like honey.
And then we'll see from there. We may have a couple more Butterfly chapters. We may go straight into doing the Butterfly review. I thought we'll wait and see when Butterfly gets put to bed.
Yeah. It must be soon. She's already written half of it.
Well, we've only got 2 more chapters and then we've got All That Glitters. So I reckon Just Like Honey, obviously, is probably going to be about honey.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll get sort of one rainbow chapter just sort of shoehorned in.
Yeah.
I had that other album. And
I had a contract that I had to see out, so I just pushed some songs out real quick, including one of my favorites of all time. How dare you say that? Just that album.
I'm curious as to what that is. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so very exciting. Plenty of Me I Am a Memoir moments to come.
Oh, so exciting.
I think we might rest and just have a single DP.
Yeah. A single P.
For
just one P.
Next. Oh, all right. If you want to be really vanilla. I need to Google triple DP and see if it's possible.
No, don't look that up. Don't look that up. Oh,
all right.
Eyes.
Allow me to do it for me. But yes, as always, please join us on the Instagram, the Twitters, and the Facebooks at Me I Am a Memoir.
Yes, and
give us a review.
Oh yes, please give us a review on the iTunes. We don't have any.
I did find out that we not only have a large American audience. Hello, darlings.
Hello, darlings.
We also get a lot of action on the Amazon Music.
Oh yes, I put us on the Amazon Music when it first started. That was my thing. I got excited. They invited us, and I'm like, yeah, sure, let's get on there.
Well, it's working. So hello to our Amazon Music listeners.
Hello to everyone who's listening to us all across the world.
Everyone.
And I'm sorry for the Prolo piece of shit here.
You need to stop apologising for yourself.
Ah, what did you do, you shady bitch?
I don't mean to be shading, but you're wearing pointy shoes.
Oh, heaven. All right.
I think we're done.
We will see you in our Daydream special episode and then back for Just Like Honey. Bye, Lamely!
Bye.
Hey guys, it's Kayla Ewell from Directionally Challenged, a podcast about realigning your internal compass. New KFC chicken nuggets are finally here, and you have never had nuggets like these. All of the delicious KFC flavor you love in one amazing chicken nugget. 100% white meat, hand-breaded in KFC's original recipe. Order new KFC fried chicken nuggets now, available at participating KFC near you. Guys, they're finger-licking good.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it up on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough with the phones already. Put them down and pay attention, or pay the price. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.